Hello, hello, and welcome to the Continuity Report for October 6th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 39. Today, Mayor Watt and the Sentient AI from the Future is going to talk about Wallace and Gromit in 4K, a messed up sci-fi mystery, Reacher spinoff to series, late night show, and shows like White Collar. Everything's powered by ohmtown.com. 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 articles. Let's get it done. I could probably shorten this to 15 minutes if I talk really fast like this, but then I'd have to consume a whole lot of caffeine. And it would be like the people that, never mind, that were talking earlier today. I was like, excuse me, miss, could you slow down? This is not a NASCAR race. This is a conversation. At Talladega with, Airbus tires. So we've got all 5 of our articles set up. So let's get into it. The first article is over in the Marble channel. Oh, wait, the Sentient AI from the Future. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Go. Welcome.
Good evening, hometown citizens. Welcome, Mayor Watt.
Production value, folks. Yeah, we don't edit anything, so everything that goes on stays. Let's see if we can do this right now. All right, so the very first article is over on the Marble channel. The Wallace and Gromit movies are getting the 4K release they deserve. Yay! For the first time, the 4 main Wallace and Gromit short films will be remastered to UHD. James Whitbrook over at Gizmodo.com put this article together. It says, for the first time, the 4 main Wallace and Gromit short films. I want all of them to be 4K.
Right.
I don't know if they are.
The shows, the movies.
I want them to go back to this style, that like the old school style, but I don't think that's what they have anymore.
Well, they might not after the studio had a fire.
Yeah. So Today Shout Factory confirmed it would release a new Wallace and Gromit collection, suitably called the Complete Cracking Collection, this December, to tie in with Netflix's release of Vengeance Most Foul later this winter. The set includes the 4 original movies, short films, that kickstarted the series: 1989's A Grand Day Out, 1993's The Wrong Trousers, which saw the debut of Vengeance Most Foul's returning antagonist and the greatest villain in animation history, Feathers McGraw, 1995's A Close Shave, and 2008's A Matter of Loaf and Death, as well as the 2005 theatrical movie Curse of the Were Rabbit. However, it seems only the 4 short films have been updated to 4K UHD, with new remasters and newly remastered audio tracks, while the collection will also include a Blu-ray disc with the new remasters. Yeah, I don't know.
Will it be available in 4K for streaming? Do we know?
I don't know what it says here. Let's see.
Oh, and they have behind-the-scenes documentaries.
Yeah, it has an interview with Aardman's Nick Park and Peter Lord, as well as a series of previously released behind-the-scenes documentaries for all of them. No, I think this is a physical thing. This isn't just released for digital. Wallace and Gromit: The Complete Cracking Collection is available to pre-order now ahead of a December 10 release for $120.
Wow. I mean, Wallace and Gromit is really worth watching. That seems very pricey.
Yeah, this is not Wanted. I mean, the show. We do a show called Wanted. Yeah.
Well, it would fit in with the price tags on today's Wanted.
That's true. Yep. Yeah, I'll take the treadmill. Just kidding. Let's keep moving. This next article is over on the Marble channel. It's What's Inside is a wonderfully messed up sci-fi mystery that's one of the year's best films. Netflix purchased the debut feature of filmmaker Greg Jordan for $17 million out of Sundance, and it debuts, 2 days ago, October 4th.
That's because this is a weekly show, so we're collecting from the week.
Jermaine Lucier put this article together for Gizmodo.com. So, a group of college friends reunite before a wedding and decide to play a game. This, however, isn't a normal game. The game comes in a very special briefcase, a briefcase brought by a member of the group the rest hasn't seen in almost a decade, and this game is about to seriously mess everything up. That's the setup for it's what inside. Not it's what's inside, or
it's an odd
no,
it's odd wording.
It says it's what's inside, not it's what inside. It's What's Inside. It's a new sci-fi thriller coming to Netflix October 4th, written and directed by Greg Jordan. Highly original, ultra creepy story that'll make your mind do gymnastics in the best way possible. Filmed and edited with energy and humor. So I guess we'll have to watch this and see.
Depends on how much sci-fi and how much thriller it is.
Yeah, it says creepy, ultra creepy story, but if it's like blood and guts and all that kind of stuff, then I don't know. So, I don't want to spoilery. Hold on. This might be spoilery if you're reading this. So, yeah. That happens when nerdy Forbes, David Thompson, arrives. Forbes was an outsider of the group and has been missing in action since college. He explains that in that time he'd been working on a device he brought with him, and he asks if everyone wants to try it out, which they do.
And the hilarity ensues.
So I won't go into the rest of this because I don't want it to spoil it for everything. So yeah, it says it's wildly entertaining, constantly surprising, and hugely rewarding. We can't wait to watch it again and again, and it's on Netflix October 4th, which is 2 days ago. So, and they do have a spoiler warning thing right here too. So, boom.
Oh, okay. We were ahead of the trend.
We did it before it was cool. Actually, they probably did it way before us, but hey. All right, hold on. Let me get that out of the way. Let's keep going. Next article is over in the continuity report that Reacher spinoff has been ordered to series. Another day, another spinoff. This one comes from the world of Prime Video's Reacher, which perhaps didn't need to be any bigger, but as we've noted before, we're pretty intimidated by Jack Allen Richson. So we won't say anything that could potentially upset him at this morning. The article
Do you think we need a spoiler alert here?
I don't know. The show is currently being referred to as the Untitled Neely Project. Emma Keats.
So this is an interesting day with spinoffs, right? Because Bosch's spinoff has been canceled. This one is confirmed.
And there's no real updates for the other Bosch.
Right. Renee Ballard.
Yeah, which hasn't even been present in the original show. So where is that actually going to land? Well, Emma Keats over at avclub.com put the article together, and it says the spinoff, which was just ordered to series overnight, will follow Maria Sten's Frances Neely, a PI introduced halfway through the first season and a former member of Reacher's Army Investigators Unit. In the words of AV Club's William Hughes, her role on the show, more often than not, is to appear when Reacher has gotten himself into a problem even his massive frame can't forcefully disassemble, executing a rescue operation. Now, we'll probably get to see a little bit more of the lead up to those types of missions. So the show's currently being referred to as the Untitled Neely Project, Variety reports. So this is from Variety, but it's published over at avclub.com as well. But that placeholder is subject to change within the coming weeks or months. Sten will reprise her role and lead the series when Neely returns or learns that a beloved friend from her past has been killed in a suspicious accident. She becomes hell-bent on justice, which sounds just like...
Sounds very much like the Reacher premise, doesn't it?
The initial Reacher was exactly that. But, I mean, brother. This is just beloved friend. Just. So I love Neely. Sten said after the series order was announced at a Prime Video event in London. She's so fun to play. She's so quirky and has so much complexity. So. There's a lot of so's in that. Anyway, there is a little bit more. There is so much more over at this article at avclub.com. Go check it out. Want to keep going?
I think so. It doesn't give us any indication of when it'll be out, right?
No, I don't think it just says, as of this writing, the spinoff hasn't been given a release date, but will stream on Prime Video, which is, I guess, no shit news.
Well, if this has anything to do with the writing from Reacher, it should be good.
Gotta be. Let's move on. The next article is over in the Continuity Report. Michael Che floats possible late night show future if NBC is interested. What I want to see are both of the Colin Jost and Michael Che doing the same thing, but expanded, and being able to tag team an interview would be spectacular, and them being able to riff off of each other and on each other would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be really good.
But I don't know if Colin Jost really, is chomping at the bit to do that kind of a thing. I don't know if Michael Che really is, but yeah, I would love to see like a dual host kind of a thing.
Yeah, they do really well together. I mean, they're both funny, but together they really play off of each other.
Yeah. So Michael Che is exploring the world beyond Saturday Night Live. Recently, he and his Weekend Update co-anchor Colin Jost announced that they'd host a new live comedy show for Peacock. See, there it is.
Aha.
I mean, they're like the best of buds, and like neither one of them can really upset the other. I don't think. The chemistry is great between the two. So, and on his own, Che has been workshopping a new late night show tentatively titled "Don't Sleep with Michael Che." Nothing is formalized and there's no network attached, but this could be the signal of what Che's next chapter might look like. And he's already tested the show format in front of live audiences. Late Nighter has a review of the experimental affair and will continue to do so.
Okay, so that's interesting. I mean, that's pretty far along if they've already done that.
Yep. Mary Kate Carr over at avclub.com put the article together. Late Nighter, latenighter.com is the source for this. Also, the Hollywood Reporter is mentioned in the article. Quote, I always think comedy fans select what they want to see, and so ideally I just do it live for a while and listen to what responses or what the response is and find the identity of the show that way, and then have something to sell, he shared with the Hollywood Reporter. He joked, I'm having fun, but it's like any relationship that's new. You can't start talking marriage too soon. Michael, some people do.
So this is also interesting because isn't the other takeaway from this that like maybe there's an exit plan for SNL?
For after SNL, I don't know if they can't keep paying him more and he strives to be independent and make more and seek that new level, that next level where he's the one that's commanding the show, not just a segment but I tune into SNL to watch the news. That's why I watch SNL.
Well, and that's exactly it. So if that's carrying SNL, that's going to be interesting if they leave.
Yeah. Yep. In 2021, it was rumored that Lorne Michaels was trying to convince some of his more tenured cast members to sign a contract staying through the landmark 50th season. It doesn't seem out of question that Jost and Che may have taken that deal. Of course, it would appeal to Michaels to keep his reliable Weekend Update anchors in place through both the presidential election and the anniversary celebrations. But this is the 50th season.
That's true. They would not want to make major changes.
Yeah, so it says Che seems to be planning his final bow. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it. Who knows what Jost will do? They're talking about doing a show together, though, so which is exactly what I said, and I love the idea. I'm there for it. So, I guess today's show's going to be pretty short. I didn't soapbox about anything, and we didn't go on a big tirade about anything. Should I just slow down right now?
No, this is good.
So this last article for today's continuity report, again, it's only 30 minutes now, but we're going to post all of the stuff, the show notes in their entirety, all of the articles that were submitted over on Patreon, but the show notes are still going to be limited on YouTube.
To the ones that were actually in the episode.
Yeah, that we talked about. So this last article is in the continuity report. Duh. The 8 best shows like White Collar to watch while waiting for the reboot. If you hadn't heard, White Collar is apparently coming back. It was a great watch back in the day, yo. With its focus on energetic crime-fighting duo incorporating dramatic and comedic elements, White Collar simultaneously stood out as a unique series with a grounding in familiar tropes. The show found a particular niche by focusing on crimes like art thefts and heists that are not as common in standard police procedurals. While this gave the show a unique premise, there are also many shows like White Collar that might appeal to fans.
One of the things that was unique about White Collar, I know it's probably not the only show that has done this, but they had a criminal paired up with, I think, a police detective.
Yeah, wasn't he a FBI?
Yeah, maybe so. Yes.
So
it says in the article down here.
Yeah, so while it gave the show a unique premise, there are many other shows like White Collar that might appeal to fans. The sequel could potentially reconnect Neil Caffrey and his FBI partner, Agent Peter Burke, after Neil faked his death in the White Collar finale.
Spoiler alert.
Shit. That's straight up. I mean, it's there, but...
you should put it up.
Yeah, but it's a little late. Hello. Retroactive spoiler
Yeah, we
alert.
need a new button for that.
Everybody who heard that just hit themselves in the head with a brick. You'll forget eventually. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. All right. Well, anyway. Wow. They just dropped that. If you've never watched the original White Collar, the original series of White Collar sets the premise for the reboot, particularly if they do exactly that.
Of course, the first episode of the new one might show that or something anyway, so there might not be too much of a spoiler there, but we don't know.
So what's the impetus to go back and watch the original?
Because it's a fun show, and it'd be worth watching.
So who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be Neil?
Somebody new.
So
it's been too long since the original, I think. I've heard really good things about Suits, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, a fake lawyer in a corporate firm. Suits is an incredibly binge-worthy show. It focuses on lawyer Harvey Specter and his unlikely partner, Mike Ross, who gets hired at Harvey's firm through sheer luck. Mike is not a lawyer, but he has a photographic memory, is highly intelligent, and has passed the bar exam several times under someone else's name. Together, the two work together in collaboration with the rest of Harvey's firm in a way that is similar to Neil and Peter in White Collar. So I think that should be added. There's 9 seasons, and that is the kind of thing that I love.
And I bet it has more than 5 or 6 episodes per season too, based on when it aired. It's getting a resurgence. It's an older show, but it's been on Netflix, and it's been topping the charts on Netflix, like from people that hadn't seen it before.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing that happened to me with Arrested Development. I didn't really dig it at the beginning, but then for whatever reason, I watched a couple of episodes and lost my mind. It was hilarious. Might have to watch that again.
The truck with the stairs.
Oh, yeah. And there's always money in the banana stand. The stair van. What did they actually call it? Oh, goodness. Anyway.
I don't know. You'll have to go watch the original.
So number 7 on this list, and there's 8. Number 7 is The Blacklist. So a wanted felon works with the FBI on his own conditions. The ending of that is not so great, but for whatever reason, it seemed to have been really fast-tracked to complete at the end of the 10th season, but there are 10 seasons, and I watched every episode at least once.
Yeah, Blacklist is one that I think kind of kept you on the edge of your seat. And in the earlier seasons in particular, there were definitely some twists. And
yeah, and there really isn't much to this to disclose because seemingly every little bit is a spoiler. So suffice to say that this felon becomes an undisclosed collaborator with the FBI to track down what is called the Blacklist, which is a series of global criminals. Part of ultimately, well, did they disclose it right from the beginning?
I mean, the name of the show and everything and that is known. So I would say in that sense, yes.
Just like the cabal kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep moving. Burn Notice. This was a great show as well. This was when did it get
This
launched?
might have been like in the 90s or
early
2000s.
90s, right? Yeah. I think it was the early 90s. So this is an ex-CIA agent named Michael Weston who gets burned, i.e. fired. So no support. Lives in a one-bedroom little apartment above something, I think, and has to walk upstairs to get to his place all the time. No credit, no job history, no cash, no connections. He's basically burned. And so Burn Notice focuses on a burned CIA agent, Michael Weston, who's stuck in Miami with no resources and is forced to keep a low profile while relying on the help from his mom and a few old friends that kind of just stumble into the role. While the premise is completely different from White Collar, the two shows feature similar kind of connections where there's somebody helping the other person kind of perpetually.
Right. And I think it's like a mix of like action and it's just light.
And
it's
humor
not
and-
where actually Blacklist kind of differentiates from that. It's a really good watch, but Burn Notice and White Collar, I think, are much more similar in their tone.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Blacklist not so much, but because I mean, there's humor in Burn Notice and White Collar. There's little to none in
And the crimes seem to be more
personal.
featured in Blacklist, I guess.
Yeah, and they're more personal. Like they seem to be like real world, and the people that are harmed are like you might actually have some sympathy. So Lupin is a gentleman thief seeks justice. I actually liked the first season of it. The second season got a little bit too right in the beginning. I kind of lost the momentum. But so it says, while Lupin holds fewer similarities to White Collar than some other shows, it also focuses heavily on art heists and the underground criminal world. Lupin is more similar to the world of Neil and Mozzie rather than the world of Neil and Peter. Neil and Peter work above ground to solve cases with the FBI, where Neil and Mozzie work underground in pursuit of their own interests. But basically, Lupin is a master thief that nobody suspects.
Right, a gentleman thief, right?
Yeah. And that's actually like the nom de guerre, I guess. And the whole show actually kind of follows him not doing necessarily little bits. Like each episode isn't criminal activity in and of itself like a bottle, whereas the others tend to be. This is one arc about a diamond necklace and the whole history leading to it.
And there's morality in it. It's not just like stealing for stealing's sake.
Yeah, there's much more story.
That's actually similar to White Collar in some ways. Some of it was just for the value of it, but
yeah, this is actually a fun watch. But again, I personally,
the first season was definitely the best.
Then there's Castle. That's number 4. Knocks it out of the park. It's, even though the introduction of each episode is kind of horrendous in that there's somebody that has died. Castle is the whole the chemistry on the set. It's amazing. It's so much fun to watch, and there isn't really slow moments. And even when they are, they're there to like set to
move
slow
the
down
plot along or whatever. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's not because of poor writing. It's because they're intentionally slowing it down before something big is around the corner. And then everybody that's involved, it just seems like there's onset antics that I don't think are written into the scene, but people are having fun on the set.
Right.
And it's 8 seasons, and it's episode rich. It isn't just 8, 4 episode seasons. There's how many? 22 or something like that episodes per season. It's just amazing. But Castle is a writer who wrote a series and then used that kind of connection with various bigwigs to insinuate himself into the New York Police Department to research a new book. Turns into a series about the detective that he's working with, and goes to crime scenes, and they solve the crimes together. Really fun watch, right?
Oh, it absolutely is. It's probably one of the best casts in terms of how they interact with each other in a show.
Yep, I agree. So I've never watched Rizzoli and Isles. It's actually 7 seasons. I kept hearing things about this being great. It's back from 2010, and it has 7 seasons, and I've never watched a single episode, and I'm not quite sure why. So it says the two have vastly different personalities. So it's kind of like the Oddfellows being renting an apartment together. Or is it? Yeah, Oddfellows?
I don't think that's the name, but I know what the Odd Couple?
Odd Couple. That's it. Odd Couple. So the odd couple living in the same apartment kind of a thing. And I guess that's the nature of this. It says their friendship plays a significant part in each episode. Both
interesting screenshot there.
Yeah, I'm telling you can't pause a video. So Neil's friendship with Peter is particularly significant because it shows Neil's character growth as he moves away from seeing Peter as his key to freedom and instead starts to see him as a friend. That's where they're talking about the other episode, the other show. Then there's Psych. Psych had 8 seasons. It was a fake psychic that brings real results, basically using logic and observation, along with his friend Gus. They pretend to be he pretends to be psychics. Sean pretends to be psychic and goes and solves crimes with the uncanny powers that his father actually gave him, which aren't supernatural. He's just a keen observer. But there's a lot of fun for all 8 seasons. I thought it was a blast. And then finally, number 1 is Instinct. A CIA agent unretires.
I don't even know what this show is. All the others I've heard of or seen.
It says Instinct is a crime drama series starring Alan Cumming as Dr. Dylan Reinhardt, a former CIA operative turned author and university professor. Recruited by NYPD detective Elizabeth Needham, Reinhardt uses his unique skills to help solve complex cases in New York City. So it's very much Castle.
Right.
I don't know how many seasons there is, but that's number 1 on the list. I don't know if they're actually in any particular order because I probably wouldn't have scrambled these this way.
But only had 2 seasons.
Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, they better be out of the park great. So Instinct shows what would happen if White Collar's Neil gave up his life of crime to have a peaceful existence, only to be lured back in. So all not Reacher, John Wick.
Oh, right. Okay. It does have a total of 24 episodes, though, which isn't bad.
Yeah, 12 episodes a season. don't know.
But by the time you get hooked on it,
Yeah,
you're
it's done. Yeah, you're done. And speaking of that, we're done. So we are going to, I'm going to scroll back up and hopefully not give anybody a seizure. But that was the 8 best shows like White Collar to watch while we're waiting for White Collar to reboot. And we are right on the money. So I am going to reboot, and that's going to bring us back to the Continuity Report front page. And with that, I'm going to say bye. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the Sentient AI, we're going to be here next week doing this show, but a little different. 5 more articles.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for the Continuity Report. Stay tuned. We have more weekly shows ahead.
And thanks for joining us, Sentient AI from the future and your Raspberry Pi. The computer Raspberry Pi. Okay, anyway. Bring on the TV shows.